All right, please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record. Got you on mute. They got him on mute.
Our apologies.
Okay, we got you now. Thank you. Go ahead.
Tyjuane Williams, 318835.
Tyrone, my name is Brennan Kelsey. Along with me is Mr. Freeman and Mr. Marabella will be your panel. Explain the process to you, read some information to the record, have a parole interview, ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement. We'll take a vote. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tyrone Williams, DOC number 318835, first class offender, not eligible for good time, life sentence, second degree murder charge. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we have here today, we have Miss Joyce Robinson, Miss Joyce Brooks Thompson, speak at the appropriate time. We have Andrew Hunley will speak at the appropriate time. Miss Monica Shaw will speak. Monica Williams Shaw, Emily Ratner, the attorney. We have, looks like Kristen Spear, Peggy, I can't read these, Peggy Helm, Frederick Williams, Zaid Noel. Thank you guys for being here. We'll speak at the appropriate time. All right, would you answer Mr. Marabella's questions, please?
Yes, sir.
Williams, how are you? My name is Tony Marabella. I'll begin our interview process. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, I do.
Mr. Williams, how old are you, sir?
49,
How long have you been in prison on these charges?
31 years.
How old were you when this happened?
17.
Tell me, if you would, how did you're from Virginia, is that right? Is that where you
Yes,
were
sir.
from? Tell me how it was you came to Louisiana. Tell me about some of the programs that you've taken. You told me a little bit about the substance abuse programs. What other programs have you taken while you've been there that have been helpful to you?
I've taken anger management.
Do you think, did you have an anger management? Did you have an anger issue back then?
No, I wasn't the angry type guy. I didn't like arguing. I wasn't angry.
This is a pretty brutal murder. So tell me what you were feeling when you did all of it.
And if you guys just saw that it jumped during the live stream had cut off, and this is all that we have recorded. So my apologies about that, but that's why we missed some of the questions. But we'll go over that after the hearing.
You weren't rageful? You weren't angry? I mean, this is a horrible case.
Yes, it is, sir. You're right. It is, sir. But
You weren't angry when you stabbed this man?
I was.
And you were angry, why? Because some of your property was missing? Is that what I'm hearing? You don't think that's an anger issue?
Yes, it is angry. Hey, I've never raged like that before. And man, I've never raged like that before. I've never had a rage like that before.
You had it then,
I did. Yes, sir, I did.
and you may have it again. So how can we be sure you won't?
Because I've matured a lot. I was a young man at the time. Well, not even a young man. I was a young adult at the time. I hadn't learned anything. I was running wild. And I feel like the program I took now was to get me prepared if I had this opportunity. I've grown up. I've matured. I've learned a lot of steps in life that I didn't know when I came into the system.
What were some of your write-ups? You tested positive while you were there for marijuana and for amphetamines. Is that right?
That was the time I was going to the court. Yes, sir.
Right. So how long ago was that?
In 17.
5 years ago?
Yes, sir. Last one.
So it was, you tested positive for or both marijuana and amphetamines while you were in prison.
5 years.
After
Never,
you had taken the initial drug rehab program.
at the Phelps program. But after I came out of RDAP, that's when I went into RDAP.
I understand that. I understand that. But the good news is, since then, you haven't had any real stressful moments like you had before.
Oh,
So we really know how you might respond under more stressful situations. Fair enough to say?
but I did have a stressful situation. When I went after my education to get my diploma, I said the prison got shut down. Well, when the prison got shut down, I was on the side. I was on Camp D Eagle. I was in the dormitory with my tutor. I had a job. I was PM school, AM janitor cleaner. Well, janitor cleaners, if they're needed somewhere else, like in another dorm, part of the prison, they don't mind have enough, they'll send the last guy in that came in. Well, I got sent to Falcon, where there was no tutors there. And I had to dig in. And I felt that was very stressful. I was calling my Pam, my sister, and them every day, giving them, numbers they were giving me with letters in it. And I couldn't grasp it at first. And I dug in without a tutor. I had to step up. And when I dug in, I got it and I didn't fall. And it didn't stress me to the point where I even wanted drugs. And I didn't.
And what have you taken in terms of victim awareness, or what do you feel for the family of Mr. West?
I'm glad you asked this. Pain. I can't sit here and say that I feel how they feel, because I can't. Because Mrs. West didn't deserve that. And all he did was open his home to us. I feel pain because I took somebody's life, first of all. I had to call home and explain that to my mother. I was in another state for killing a man. The pain that the family feels, I know they suffer. I can't say that I understand it. I can't say that I feel it, because I feel the pain of what I did that day in 1991 to Mr. Joseph West. The man didn't deserve that. And if the family was here today, I would speak to him if I could, if it was lawful, and I would tell him that Mr. West had never done me nothing. Me and that man didn't have a gripe until that day. I didn't know Mr. West. I can't explain, what happened. It was behind some property, and I lost my cool. Should never happen.
Did you ever finish the Living in Balance program?
Living in balance? Yeah, that was the RDAP. Yes, sir.
Well, no, that's a different program.
Yeah.
You were in
And
Living in Balance, got kicked out for too many absences. Did you never go back and finish that program?
No, sir. That's
What your record reflects.
Yeah.
Gordon, does your record reflect that he was in Living in Balance and
Yes, sir, it does. He was in it at one time and he never did complete it according to our records.
Yeah. But I would, because that was the goals I set out, was to take all these programs and achieve them. And I don't recall it living in balance. But if I was given a
What he
chance,
did complete was, as he's stating, the RDAP, the Residential Drug Abuse Program,
yes, sir.
in our behavioral management program,
Yes, sir.
but not the living in balance.
right, he did complete RDAP. I agree with that. But also he was in Living in Balance and he was kicked out because of excessive absence. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gordon, what can you tell us about Mr. Williams?
From looking at the record, he has been honest in the fact that, prior to 2015, he was a Class A trustee, working in electric shop. 2015, got right up, lost his trustee status, and went back in as a medium in the electric shop, but then in 2018 did have these issues that he spoke of. Since then, He has completed his GED. He is medium custody and currently working as a GED tutor at Camp D.
Thank you, Warden.
Okay, we'll hear from Mr. Hunley.
Andrew Hunley with Louisiana Parole Project, here to confirm to the board that Tyjuane is a client of our organization. Just to confirm, the reentry plan that we support is, and this would be similar to a few other of our clients who we've gotten enrolled in CARP. Tyjuane would release to Parole Project. We would pick him up at the front gate in coordination with CARP, depending on a prospective release date. Sometimes they may not have a bed for 24 to 48 hours. We would get him first available opportunity into CARP. We would bring him, whether that means bringing him from the front gate of Angola, if there's a bed at that point, or keeping him in residence for 24 to 48 hours before there's a bed available to him at CARP. Upon his successful completion of the CARP program, then he would come in residence with us at Parole Project. And then when he completed phase 1 of our program, then he would go to live with family in Virginia. The ICOTS process is not completed. It'll probably take, as the board's aware, 45 days or so for that process to be completed. But his intention and the reentry plan that we support is for him to live with family in Virginia. I understand that the board may consider asking Tyjuane to complete some programs before he releases from Angola. What Parole Project's here to say is that we believe that Tyjuane did reach a turning point back around 2018. We do believe, and just to be honest with you, what convinced me that Tyjuane was someone that we wanted to give an opportunity is because of his honesty. I think the same thing that the board sees today, we found in interviewing him. He was brutally honest. We had more time to interview him than you have time today, and he was just brutally honest with us about mistakes of his past and what he was wanting to do to move forward, especially as it relates to his sobriety. We will, if he's granted parole, while he's with Parole Project, he will attend AA meetings, and we will know and provide him with every AA meeting that he would be able to attend whenever he goes home to Virginia. We're looking at someone who is a very immature, impulsive 17-year-old who committed a horrible crime after more than 30 years of incarceration, almost 50 years old. We believe he's a completely different person who is capable and likely to be successful with the tools that are available to him. Just want to confirm Parole Project support for Tyjuane and our plan to help him have a successful reentry plan and remain sober moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Miss Monica Williams Shaw, brief statement.
Yes. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Hello, I just want to say hello to you all first. My name is Monica Williams Shaw. I'm Tyjuane's sister. I remember when this happened when I was only 11, we got a call to the house and our mother answered the phone and she just instantly started crying because my brother had gotten into some trouble in Louisiana. After some time had passed, she had to go down to court for our brother, and she called us to tell us he wasn't coming home. A life sentence without parole. It was devastating to the family. Every year, we had to come here to visit my dad's side of the family and my brother. It was a bittersweet trip every year. It got harder and harder. Every time we had to leave these gates of Angola without my brother, we have always been very close. After some years, our parents divorced, but I was determined to make sure I came to visit my brother every year. I would save my tax return money to come visit him once a year, all the way from Virginia. My mother was not in the best of health, but she always held it together to come see her only son. I remember her reading letters from him and crying, just saying to herself, I just want my son home before I die. That didn't happen. She passed away in 2010. Her only son didn't even attend his funeral or her funeral. My brother has never shied away from the wrong he committed when he was 17-year-old. That was the biggest mistake of his life. Over the years, I've watched my brother grow to the man he is today. He's become more patient, gives respect to everybody, and he's more patient. He's even learned the skill since being on here in Angola. Once he's released, he will be living with my husband and myself. But as a family, we're here to support him in every aspect, mentally, spiritually, financially, whatever he needs. We are a small family, but we are mighty, and we have high standards for him and ourselves to help him at any turn, so he will be successful when on his parole status. We're here from Virginia supporting him at all costs. And it's my promise, it's our promise to make sure we do everything in our power to help my brother to maintain and continue to be an upstanding citizen of this society. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Ms. Joyce Brooks Thompson.
I'm opposed to Mr. Williams. This happened in 1990. We were given a choice of parole without parole. And now it's changed. My family comes from a long line in longevity. My grandmother was 96 when she passed. My mother passed in 2020 at 90, only because of Alzheimer's. Her oldest sister, the last living sister, passed a year ago at 96 years old. My uncle had no health issues at the time of his death. My uncle was living and enjoying his family, like Mr. Williams might get to do someday, but we won't. Mr. Williams lived at my uncle's house for 6 days. My uncle housed him and fed him. Mr. Williams made a decision that day to take my uncle. That was his choice. Mr. Williams if he is released, I want him to return to Virginia. Our family has lost a great man. He was a businessman. He would give you the shirt off his back. So for him to take some property of Mr. Williams, that's not wrong. My uncle was a bricklayer from Mason by trade. He went to Tuskegee and learned masonry. He taught me how to make bricks. Did I follow in that step? No, I'm a nurse. So Mr. Williams does not look like he is ready for society. And I hope that y'all see that he's ready for society.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Williams, you'd like to make a statement, and Ms. Ratner, you can wrap up at the end.
Yes, sir, I would. First of all, I would like to apologize to the family member. I'm sorry for what I did to your uncle. And you're right, Mr. West never done me nothing.
Speak to
didn't
the
deserve-
board. Speak directly to the,
What you say?
speak direct to the board.
Oh, I'm
not to
sorry,
her.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. And like I said, I can't imagine the pain and suffering I caused him because it's never happened to me. I can't imagine that. But I know the pain that I felt because I took Mr. West's life. And I live with that. I live with that. I live with that. And I just can't say I'm sorry enough. Man, can't say I'm sorry enough. But what I can say, I hope the family can forgive me for what I did. Sorry for what I did. Take another man's life. I was immature. Man, I need help. But today I sit in front of a changed man. I feel like I've done everything I could, just in case I did get this moment to come in front of you. I've done my program, I've got my education. I even got a prison dude I like, tutoring, giving back. That was something that was gave a chance to give to me, further my education. And I just hope the board would take everything into consideration.
All right.
Whatever.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you. Ms. Ratner, would you like to wrap up?
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners. Emily Ratner on behalf of Mr. Williams. I'm joined by Zaid Noel. Together, we have represented Tyjuane Williams for more than 4 years. In that time, we have come to know the thoughtful, deeply compassionate, and kind man that he is, and the degree to which he contributes to his community here. Tyjuane Williams has matured and rehabilitated. He is not the impulsive, scared teenager that he was when he was 17 years old. He is ready to come home. He has done exactly what Miller and Montgomery predict most children who commit horrible homicide crimes will do. Since he has been here at Angola, he has spent his time improving his community and improving himself. He has attained his certification in fiber optics. He's laid cable all over this facility. He's been a tier walker, supporting the health and wellness of his peers around him, and now he tutors others. Most importantly, he has done a lot of hard work on himself to be ready for his release. Commissioner Marabella, I appreciate your line of questioning and particularly your expertise in this arena. I understand Mr. Williams is nervous today. We all know there's a lot of stakes here. He has put in the work. He did that first program, the first rehabilitation program. It did not work out for him when he had a setback in his case. 2018 was, as Mr. Hunley described, a serious turning point for Mr. Williams. He sought out individual therapy to learn techniques to deal with stress, anxiety, and depression, and he has put those techniques to good use. He relies on his family behind him as his support network. He is transparent with them about what is going on in his life, and he uses his strong relationships with them in his community to move through the systems he has to navigate. He then went into the BMP RDAP program, which, as I think you may be aware, is a highly selective program. I think it's only a quarter of the people who apply who are accepted into that program. He was accepted and he worked that program to develop systems of accountability. Commissioner Marabella, I'm going to push back a little bit on Mr. Williams not having faced adversity. He went through this pandemic shutdown, as we all did. He went through it in a facility where there was no opportunity for social distancing. There was no opportunity to follow the CDC guidelines. We didn't know at the beginning of this who would live and who would die. And a lot of people in this country fell off their sobriety in that precise moment. Not Mr. Williams. He stayed cool, calm, and collected. He stayed sober. He got his high set without the assistance of his tutor. and he is tutoring people today. We ran into the woman over tutoring in the hall. She stopped what she was doing to come and tell us, Tyjuane Williams is one of my favorite tutors. He has proved that he is rehabilitated. He is ready to come home. His re-entry plan is one that we have crafted together, Mr. Williams, Mr. Noel, and I, in consultation with the Parole Project. We applied for a position with CARP because we want to take advantage of every resource available to us to ensure a successful reentry. My personal and professional opinion is that Mr. Williams could absolutely succeed if he went directly to the Parole Project. I am confident in that. But when we learned about the existence of CARP, we were not going to pass up such an opportunity if it was possible for Mr. Williams. And Mr. Williams, being an honest and humble person, said, if that resource is available to me, yes, I will take advantage of it. That is why CARP is in the program here. He will then go to the Parole Project to learn more from Mr. Hunley and take advantage of the programming they had. And then you heard his sister Monica talk about all of the support he has waiting for him back in Virginia. This family has been coming here for decades to show Mr. Williams their support. They're now here to show you their support. They are going to be there to make sure he succeeds. Mr. Williams will make sure he succeeds. I have every confidence that Mr. Williams is fully rehabilitated, but we're the legal team, so we don't expect you to take our word for it. Let's think about the experts on reentry and recidivism. Mr. Williams has a Tiger score that is low risk. That's DOC's own assessment of his likelihood of running into problems on release. Norris Henderson has sent a letter to you all fully supporting his release. Mr. Henderson wanted to be here today with us. He couldn't make it, but he wanted you to know he believes that Mr. Williams is rehabilitated. He is ready to come out and succeed on his release. Mr. Hunley believes that Mr. Williams will succeed. He talked about his brutal honesty, his humility. Mr. Hunley is in a perfect position to know. Ashley Dowden, the client advocate at the Parole Project, wrote a letter in her own personal capacity because of how deeply she believes Mr. Williams has rehabilitated and is ready to succeed. And these are our experts on what it looks like to come out and succeed. And the experts are saying, Mr. Williams is ready. Ms. Thompson, I am so sorry for what Ms. Thompson and her family have gone through. I wish that we had had the opportunity to connect before today. As the lawyer, I take responsibility for that. That is on me. That is on us. I believe, Ms. Thompson, if you had an opportunity to really see what Mr. Williams has accomplished and the degree to which he sits with what he has done to this family on a daily basis, he has fully owned the crime that he committed. He knows he can never.
Sorry, I just had to jump in because she's really getting on my nerves. What is she talking about? It's if we had had the opportunity to talk to the victim, it's on me. Did I miss something? But you're not allowed to talk to the victim. And when did the victim say that they wanted to talk? Did I miss that? I don't know. I think this is one of the more obnoxious attorney final statements that I've heard. But maybe I'm just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't know.
Can never take it back. He's going to spend the rest of his life living with that reality. And I hope at some point in the future, perhaps we can broker something that, frankly, I, as the attorney, should have brokered before this moment. And I am so sorry for that. I hope that you can hear how very honest Mr. Williams is about who he has been and who he is today. I hope you can trust in the experts who are telling this board, this man is ready and this is his moment. And I genuinely hope you will grant him today. If you believe that he needs additional programming, whatever it is, he has faced adversity and he'll face whatever it takes. And the family sitting behind us, they'll face whatever it takes. But Mr. Williams is ready to come home. He is ready to go to CARP and Parole Project and then Virginia. He's ready to start that process today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Marabella?
Mr. Williams, I do appreciate your honesty. You have worked very hard. You've had a lot of bumps while you've been there. This was a brutal crime, caused by your dependence on drugs and alcohol and your anger. I'm not sure exactly what happened back then. Certainly you were a young man. You've matured a lot while you've been in prison, but as adversity hit you in 2017 and 2018, you went back and you reverted back to drugs. That's a concern of mine. You had been in prison for quite some time at that point. And some things hit you in the face. Now, I concede that, sure, during COVID, you were strong. You did very well, and I respect that. But you were in a different environment. You weren't out in the public like you're going to be asking us to do. I think you've accomplished a lot. I think you understand what your issues are. I think personally, for me, one board member, I think you need a little more work. I think you need some more work on anger management. I think that you need some more work on substance abuse. I believe you would benefit from going to the Steve Hall program and also taking some anger management programs. I do believe that you've worked very hard. I do believe that you've earned the right for my vote for a parole, recommendation of parole, but that is going to be conditioned. My vote would be to recommend to grant your parole conditioned upon your enrolling and completing the Steve Hoyle program, and in addition to that, getting some anger management programs done. And once you complete that program, you'll be released under my vote would be released to Louisiana Parole Project to complete that program, and then returned to Virginia, where you have a full bevy of support behind you. So that's my vote, Mr. Chairman. Good luck to you,
All right.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur with Mr. Marabella with the same conditions.
I should have two votes to grant your parole today to the long-term substance abuse program. Again, it's a difficult case. There's things that are still concerning to me as well. But I'll go with my colleagues and vote to grant your parole after you complete the Steve Hall substance abuse program, long-term program with anger management. You'll be released to the Parole Project to complete their program, and then you'll head to Virginia, not to return to Louisiana. You have a curfew from 9 p to 6 a. And I do want you to have a mental health evaluation and follow up on getting out, and a Parole Project will probably help you with that. That's my vote for today. 3 votes granted to the long-term substance abuse Steve Hall program. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They don't seem very excited about this. It's like a 9-month program. You just got parole, you think. Maybe they're being respectful to the victim. So the problem I have with this hearing, unfortunately, is that we missed a lot of it. The Louisiana board live stream cut off, and I recorded whatever it is that they showed us, but their admin couldn't set it up fast enough, which makes sense. They didn't stop the hearing basically once the live stream went dead. They just kept going. I can't find anything online. He did appeal a sentence, but for some reason the details of the appeals are not available. It's just like 1-page conclusion of the appeal. So I don't really know where to go with this. I can only comment on what I've heard, and I guess the certain things I just didn't like was, when his sister started giving her speech, it was a well-said speech. She's a good speaker, a good orator, but it was, I thought, untasteful. She, listening to her, you would have thought that she was the sister of the deceased, of the victim. You know, she started off by saying, when we heard the news that he was given life, it's like my life changed forever. I can never see him. And it's like, you know, talking about it as if she's the victim, which she is a victim of her brother in that sense, but it's not something in the sense that, yeah, he hurt everyone around him by committing this senseless, horrific crime. But this is not the place to go and vocalize it. You can vocalize it to your therapist, but not to the parole board. The attorney was annoying for me. I don't know. Was it just me? But it was like nails on a chalkboard for me to hear her list all of these. Oh, and the parole project, and they think he's great. And, well, it's a money-making scheme. They say everyone is good. Who they represent everyone. They say the same exact thing. It's like, really, as an attorney, you're going to go and talk to the board and use all of those references. All of these experts said that he can get out. That's going to be like, who are you pleading in front of? You're not pleading in front of a jury. You're not pleading in front of a jury that, you know, doesn't really understand necessarily what's going on. You're pleading in front of the parole board. Let's be real. You're not. It was just so weird. For me, it was like a weird, annoying argument. And then the whole thing as she was taking it, maybe the victims, maybe I missed it one, or maybe we missed it altogether, but what was she saying about arranging a meeting between them? I guess I have to assume that one of them asked to meet, and they're upset that they didn't. His speech at the end was not very good either. It was immature. Like, you're immature. So you killed someone? I was immature? Like, how do you say that? I was immature. He did have a good point, though, going through COVID and excelling when many didn't. I'll give him that. But no, I think the attorney didn't do him any favors. You're not going to win a boxing match or an ego war with the panel board. So by trying to say that they're wrong and all these things, that's not going to win you any brownie points. Anyways, I'd like to hear your thoughts as always. I don't know who was in the bottom of the screen the whole time. I'm assuming a victim, but again, because of what we missed, I don't know if she spoke. I don't know. But she didn't look happy. I don't blame her. With that, I'll let you go.